Keep in step with the Spirit, and then he goes on down at the bottom there. That's how we fulfill, the will, the commands of Christ is by carrying each other's burdens. We serve in love by what? Carrying. We'll do the one another again. One another's burdens. Right? Now, what is another Bible word that we're used to using? It starts with M, and it means to serve, or service. Anybody want to give a wild guess? Starts with an M. Minister? Minister. So when we see this term, I'm having a hard time writing consistently at this angle. Minister. Right? Ministering. If there are a group of things that a church does, if there's a number of different groups of things where people try to fill needs, carry each other's burdens, do, serving one another, we call those ministries, right? Ministries. So there are a number of different ministries within a congregation, and the struggle oftentimes is, in order to accomplish a ministry, you first have to figure out what kind of ministries are necessary. There are some things in which churches have done for years and years. They accomplish a minimal amount of cars filling needs, but they utilize a lot of the resources that are available in the church. So as leadership is to identify a number of things. Identify the needs, right? And then identify the, what's the good way to say it? The talents or resources, right? That the church has. And then put together a plan to utilize those talents and abilities to fill the needs. Okay? That's, in a nutshell, one of the responsibilities of the leadership. Now, the other thing, when doing this, it's important to include the congregation, because the congregation are the ones with the needs. The congregation are the ones who supply the talents or the resources, right, to work together. And the plan is that everybody utilizes their talents and abilities to do so. Make sense? Everybody on the same page, so to speak? So what I want to do with you tonight is I want your help in, and the good thing about, for those that may be online sharing with us, is that somewhere along the line, you as a viewer will participate in the church in one of these areas, and it may enlighten a path for you to serve, or a need might be revealed where you can seek out, someone to minister to. Someone to whom you should minister, or maybe it'll reveal to somebody that they need to minister to you based upon your needs. So the first thing I want to do is I want to ask you what we'll do is we'll do by a major heading. What major heading could be called a ministry of Montville Church of Christ? And we'll identify different things within that. So I'll give you an example to make it a little more understandable what I'm getting at. Let's say, for example, biblical education. Okay? And what things might fit under that? This is a brainstorming session that I'm including you guys, because you're going to help me to, I can make a list, right? I can come up with all kinds of things that are in my mind, but without all of your involvement, you may think of things that I can't think of, that I don't know. And I need to know what those are. So as we look at Biblical education within the church here at Montville. What are some subheadings that would fit under that major category?
Bible school. Adult children.
Bible school, and we would include adults. I'll go a step further, youth and children. Okay? Children. The juices start to flow. What other areas might fit under? Debbie's keeping notes for me tonight.
Online ministry for whoever.
Online teaching.
Maybe Bible study?
Bible studies. What might those include, not counting by these two? What other, could we break this down more?
New Christians.
So we could have new Christian education. What else? Or Bible studies. Well, let's do it this way. This might be a larger group, small groups. And then under that, we might include new Christians, adult, in-home. I mean, there might, pardon?
Sometimes there's women's Bible studies, men's Bible
Okay, exactly. Women's, only in the church anymore. In the world, you can't split them up like that. You don't know the difference. And I say that sadly. See how we're going? Now, let's think about what goes on here at Montville. Are we doing this right now? Is this ministry going on as far as under Bible studies? Are these happening right now that we know of? Okay. I will let you in on, I am hopeful to start not this, but a prior to this study. Someone's asking questions about being immersed into Christ, giving their life to the Lord. So one of these studies, similar to that, may be starting this week or next week. So there's a need, so we have to make it available. It may not always be going on. There may be no new Christians to have that particular study. So, but again, when we think of these things, they're on our list, and when they come up, we're prepared for them, because that's what we have to do, is be ready to roll when something comes up. Are there any other areas under biblical education that you can think of that might fit into that? VBS, Vacation Bible School, some kind of program along that line. In Bakersfield, we didn't do a Vacation Bible School. It was the same kind of thing. It was a whole different structure. It was family-based rather than, individuals breaking up by age group, and we called it our summer meetings. So it was the same thing, just differently.
You might want to put under that some kind of teacher training for VBS.
Biblical education, teacher training.
Or any of them. I think there would be people that might want to, but have no clue how.
So this might be training, and under training, we might have teacher. What else? Helpers. Suppliers. See how the brain goes once it's turned loose. People who supply the needs for the various things. What else might fit underneath this? I want to roll because I want to get to as many as we can tonight before our time up. And I don't want to keep you here all night. What else might fit underneath it?
Camp.
Camp.
Reading online.
Camp can also fit under, it might include two places. It might also be under missions because of how we do it here at Montville, right? because we support the camp in our missions program.
Yeah, also our mission support,
We're not to missions yet. Children's Church, another biblical education opportunity, right? That pretty much covers that section, unless you have any other thoughts on the biblical education. What do we do here at Montville specifically? Now, we do have our Sunday morning, which could possibly fit into the Sunday afternoon, where I'm doing some teaching, or one of the other fellows is teaching, but I might also put that under our Sunday morning worship time as a separate category and identify things. Anything else under education that we do here at Montville at the present time? Is there anything comes to mind that we should do that's missing, that's needed, biblical education-wise? Okay. Another major heading. This is where, what do we do at Montville? Major heading. Any major heading, any group. We did this one, right? Missions. And under missions we have Pioneer, right? Bible translators. We have, what's the other one? I was thinking the other one starts with B. Blue Rock Camp. What else?
Braille Mission.
Braille Mission, thank you. That's the other one I was thinking. So we support this one and this one with money. We support this one with money and also sometimes staff, right? And children. Yes. So we have a need right now where the camp is really struggling to get people to work the camps. So they need staff. So that's something that we can keep in mind as a major need in our missions department, in our education. And so therefore we need people who can go there and be the staff, which means we might need training and encouragement. See how the pieces start to fall into place? So that we know what we need to be focusing on as far as what's important. So missions is the main area. Is there anything else we do missions-wise, Montville? Anybody aware of any?
Other than housing, when they get here, sometimes we.
Right, that would go under, yeah, with their visiting and things.
Do the Legend Bible Club. Camp Christian Home. World Child Hunger Fund.
Canton,
Yep.
Christian Home,
World Child Hunger Fund.
and World,
Child Hunger Fund.
Child Hunger. Names are jumping out of my head. What else was the one, what's the one we do when we provide?
The Women's Day.
That's kind of community outreach as well, but we really don't emphasize outreach, it's more of a support. The one at Christmas time with all the goodies?
Oh,
Posting,
Family Services.
yeah.
Family services. Do you think it's important to be aware of these at the top of our mind? Okay. Anything else mission-wise? These will help the leadership keep our priorities straight too. What's another main heading?
Worship.
And what we group under worship, how would you define that?
Worship service.
So we have AM and PM services, so everything that falls within, for the most part, within the main section of that time with the groups, right?
Also, I would also say, holidays. We do like Christmas Eve service. That's essentially worship.
Holidays, and so would we do, for example, we do a thing with the choir. Would the choir be its own group? under music, or would it be, see, it's just a matter of prioritizing, and we can do that anytime. Just things to think about. We have patriotic, right? And seasonal. I'm not sure how we might want to talk about those, but, because these are not really a specific ministry, it's just a heading. Choir would be a ministry where people are involved doing something, right?
Patriotic, you have to put together a program, and there's people that put that together, so kind of,
So it's the programming, that's part of the level of doing it.
yeah, 'cause there has to be a program that goes along with it, and usually that has to be outsourced to some person.
So within worship services, what are the elements of those? That we do these things. There is music, right? Under music, there is vocal, there's instrumental, right? I mean, jump in, I'm just throwing them out here as we go, not to take your,
There's also the education portion that gets plugged in.
educating in music.
Well,
Is that what you're saying, or-
I would say under that second line,
Next one,
because
okay.
the sermon is essentially, it's education, but it's an element of a worship service, so it's
Instructional, okay.
Reading, stuff like that, prayer.
There's multiple prayers.
Communion's under there. Got that
Communion.
right.
So these are areas within each service that we could start plugging in people. Right? People can start involved in, because again, what are we doing? We're serving each other, right? The things that are done up here are not done for the person's glory. It's to serve those that are out here in the leading, to get them involved and participating. So it's a group participation. The same with the prayers. The prayers are not for the person who's doing the praying, because we talked about the difference between the Pharisee and the publican in the prayers, right? And so we're praying, for each other, for each other's needs, on behalf of each other, because there's a need for those kind of things. The reading of the Word, we need to hear the Word. It's not about somebody being special who can read better than anybody. It's anybody who reads the Word to bless others, right? So these are ministries. These are ways that we serve one another. What else might be involved in worship? Music could include, I had it down there, that would be specials, for example, might be done, right? There's just a ton of ways. Choir jumps down to 2 maybe, under music. Pardon?
Someone puts together the PowerPoint.
There you go. PowerPoint, along with that line, what do you need for PowerPoint?
Person around.
You have the tech team.
The electronics to just group everything together, right? And we can have subheadings under that. There's the internet, there is computer stuff, there's the soundboard, there's the placing of equipment, the internet. There is, once you're on the internet, then there's the websites, right? And Facebook or whatever we use, YouTube. There's a lot that goes on, isn't there? What are other things that we could mention here in the next couple of minutes? I'm not going to go a whole lot longer,
You have to put, you have to classify all the maintenance for the church building somewhere.
but, yep. The maintaining of the facilities, right? So you have whatever buildings, right? Building, property,
Cleaning,
so under that you have things like cleaning,
decorating,
deco,
yard work.
pardon? Yard,
Landscaping.
landscaping.
shoveling the sidewalk. Thank you.
Purchasing of the salt.
When things break. Purchasing as needed, all kinds of things, right? I can't even write today. As needed. Okay, all kinds of things. What are some of the things that need to be purchased? Salt for outside.
Plants.
If you go up here to cleaning, there's a lot of things that need to be purchased and maintained, right?
Paper for in here, and there's craft stuff.
So what I'm going to ask for you guys to do, I'm going to roll these off here, and if you think of something in addition to this, I'm going to add it to my list real quick. I'm not going to do it on the board anymore, but I want you to just plow your mind for a minute, okay? Under facilities and maintenance, along with these that we have, there's the monthly cleaning as well as maybe spring and fall cleaning. There's the other building next door. There's the baptistry. There's the furnace maintenance. All of the utilities and things within the building. Yard upkeep and mowing, landscaping, snow plowing, shoveling, salting, ramps, so forth. Special workday projects. All those things need to be done and they need to be organized and people need to be involved in doing it. There are some people who may never come up and stand and preach a sermon with their mouth, but they will out there with a shovel in their hand. And people need to recognize that every bit of service is just about as valuable and important as every other service that's accomplished within the church. There's men's ministries, the service projects that can be done as far as addressing needs within the congregation in the people's homes possibly. Maybe somebody has a need in their home and they can't get to it. The guys get together and make a plan and go take care of it. Community outreach programs that we do as far as, we do a lot with the patriotic stuff, opening up the building to the community so that they can utilize it. We can be an example there. New resident visits, if somebody comes in and Linda lets us know who might be coming new into Montville, and we take a plate of goodies on the back of the plate that says Montville Church Christ the date that we get it to them. Just to visit, let them know that the church is here. Number of things like that that go on. Supplies we talked about, a card ministry. There are a couple in the church who send cards. There's one that the cards are sent mainly for birthdays. I don't even know who does that now. Is Barb doing it now? Okay.
Anniversaries.
And anniversaries, get wall cards, miss you cards, all those kind of things are being done by somebody, but those are not being done, except for the birthday cards, they're not being done by the church as a whole. They're being done by individuals within the church, and they're amazing the effect that it has on people. You get so many calls about the miss you cards, you know. They mean a lot. Visitors, do we have somebody who greets somebody when they come in the door? Helps them find a seat, welcomes them into the church. That could be a whole ministry right there. People swapping in every Sunday and swapping out. And imagine if somebody had a responsibility on a Sunday morning to participate and to bring something of themselves into the ministry, how much more regular would they be a part of the ministry? Calendar, directory, communications and advertising, our prayer chain, both by phone and online, monthly fellowships, our evening dinners that we might have here from time to time, all your kitchen and bathroom supplies. There are a ton of things that go on. Now, as we move forward towards the end of the year, I wanted to brainstorm with you a little bit. I wanted to get your juices flowing, because if you think of something, if you see a need within the church, it's important to let the leadership know so we can address those needs and find and or train people up to fulfill those ministries. And that's our emphasis this year. You know, Jesus served so that we might be saved, and he saved us so that we can in turn serve. And so that's the emphasis, and so that's what we're pushing. I am planning with your help and encouragement and maybe some direction, or however you might be able to use your talents, I'm going to put together some type of ministry fair presentation. I haven't decided just exactly what form it's going to take. I know I have big ideas to start with, and what I wanted to do was to just open up the whole area and have every ministry within the church have a booth that people could come and look at and say, oh, and then ultimately to get them to sign up for ministry. I don't know if I can pull that off by the end of the year, so I'm looking at a different form or way to do that. But the whole objective is to encourage each other to use their talents and abilities in service of one another to God's glory. So that's what I'm moving towards, and that's why I'm bringing you guys in on Sunday night. Also, for those that are online to participate, we'll be bringing the Sunday morning group in to encourage them to minister to one another also. I mean, honestly, I'm not asking for false humility here, but honestly, when you found yourself in need of something, whether it's, oh, I don't know, your vehicle broke down, you found yourself in a ditch, or you broke your arm and you can't cut the steak, you're hurting inside, you need a hug. I mean, when you find yourself in want, in need, hurting in some way, little or large, isn't it a blessing when somebody steps up without having to be begged, or needled or whatever, but they see, they recognize, and they step up and they're there. If that means something to you, imagine the effect you have on others when you step up and help them. It's huge. And I know those of us who are here tonight, we have all received, haven't we? Blessings from each other, and we've given blessings to each other. And that's what makes this group so consistent, That's what draws people to Montville Church of Christ and stay, is when we serve and when we recognize that. It goes both ways, right? So I encourage you with that tonight. I hope that it gets your mind thinking, your heart running, so that your feet will follow in your knees. So be in prayer for this as we move forward. Michael?
Stand and we'll do our last song. Not at all. Yeah.
Start us on the first, and you should just pick it up.
Hopefully.
You heard about the brothers Pete and Ricky, right?
Heavenly Father, as we leave this place, Lord, we're so grateful for this time that we've had together, Lord. We pray that throughout